During the proposal, my boyfriend gave me a car and said he wanted to help me realize my dream of traveling the world. Not long after, I was unexpectedly rear-ended, and while reviewing the dashcam footage, I saw him pushing the young female secretary down in my vehicle. The girl smiled and hooked her arm around his neck, playing so big in your wife's car, aren't you afraid of being found out? Anyway, I've already caught her, so what is there to be afraid of? He patted her face, even if she knows, she can only make do. That day I laughed awkwardly, laughing at our 7 years of love, yet he didn't realize that I am a stubborn person. I never settle. Half a month before the divorce ceremony, I saw the dashcam in my boyfriend's car. In the video, my boyfriend and his secretary are entwined together, particularly intimate. The girl teased, while sweetly fanning the flames, she still doesn't know, right? The car you gave her, we've already played several rounds on it. The boyfriend whispered, who told you to hold back as soon as you got in the car? Hearing this, I couldn't hold it in any longer and ran to the bathroom to dry heave. After my emotions settled, I turned back to the living room and picked up the syrup on the table. Ross and I had been in a relationship for 7 years, and we are very familiar with each other's preferences. He liked the sweet soup shop in the south of the city, so I would take a detour every day after work to buy a portion to bring back. Today is no exception. The car I'm driving is the one he gave me when he proposed. Every decoration inside was arranged by him personally, from the scented candles to the car ornaments, all of which I love. So when I was rear-ended, I was very angry and argued with the owner of the car that caused the accident, even pulling out the dashcam footage. But I never expected that the truth recorded in the device would be like this. Taking a deep breath, I forcefully threw the syrup into the trash can. It turns out that when a person is in pain, the body will send out warnings. I have a terrible headache and feel constantly nauseous. Ross called and asked me to prepare dinner for him, the phone kept beeping, and I threw it to the ground. Enough, I've had enough. The first time after we got together, I didn't wait for him to come home. The next morning when I woke up, my head was pounding, and I realized I had developed a high fever. As soon as I sat up, I saw Ross push open the door and ask, somewhat unhappily, why didn't you wait for me to come back yesterday, and why didn't you go to the south of the city to buy sweet soup? I glanced at him and said calmly, you've been coming back too late recently, it's unnecessary. What is your attitude? He slightly dodged his gaze and then raised his voice, I came back late, wasn't it for work, to earn money to fulfill your travel dreams? Now you're blaming me. Caitlin, you are no longer young, so stop throwing tantrums like a little girl. With you being so emotional, who would dare to marry you? I only said one sentence, yet he angrily complained about a whole bunch of things, and with this kind of retaliatory accusation, his fierce exterior hiding a weak interior, I almost thought that what I saw yesterday was all an illusion. I didn't want to pay attention to his stomping, I just got up to find the first aid kit. Caitlin, are you ignoring me? He was provoked and pushed me away. I was already running a fever, my body weak, and when he pushed me, I fell directly to the ground, my arm hitting the cabinet and leaving a long gash of blood. He was both shocked and angry. What are you pretending to be? I didn't use any strength at all. Ross, I coughed and looked up at him, I have a fever. Ross was stunned. His face turned pale and then flushed, and he hurriedly helped me up, whispering an apology, why didn't you tell me earlier? I'm sorry, I was just angry. I did not accept his apology, I just remained silent, watching him search for the medicine box, bustling about. After Ross helped me onto the bed, he suddenly said, Caitlin, since you're not feeling well, why not take this time to rest and prepare for our wedding? The project in your hands, just leave it to Rachel to handle. Rachel is his secretary. I closed my eyes, and the image of them entwined was still vivid in my mind. I stared at him intently and asked, are you sure you want me to give her to you? Ross said, Rachel is very smart, she just lacks experience. Help her out a bit, don't be too selfish. I smiled and obediently said, okay. Ross couldn't believe that I was so generous, and instead felt a bit guilty. He repeatedly asked if he needed to stay and keep me company, I just shook my head and gently said, "Work is important." He left, looking back 3 times with every step. He doesn't know. I followed this project from start to finish, and the client isn't the type to be easy to talk to, so let Rachel handle it. As for whether she can eat it or not, that's none of my business. After all that has happened, I no longer want the project or him. I copied the footage from the dashcam, and in the days that followed, I did not disturb anyone and methodically prepared for the wedding. As the wedding date approached, Rachel could no longer suppress her thoughts. My phone receives text messages from unknown numbers every few days. "Do you think your fiancé loves you very much?" As long as I cry, he eagerly gives me anything. "Do you know what we did in your vehicle?" I suddenly laughed. Ross, who was having breakfast, put down his chopsticks and looked up to ask me what was wrong. I shook my head. "The wedding surprise I prepared for you is quite interesting." "Caitlin, you are truly wonderful." Ross was very touched. "Marrying you is the happiest thing in my life." I smiled and suggested, "By the way, don't you take good care of your secretary? Why not ask her to be the bridesmaid?" Ross paused, a look of panic flashing across his face. "Why are you suddenly bringing this up?" "I'll do whatever you say." At that moment, his phone beeped, and he quickly glanced over, pushed the bowl aside, stood up, and said, "There's something at the company, I have to go." The next second, my phone lit up as well. "Look, as long as I say a word, he'll obediently leave you to come find me." "Caitlin, why do you have to be so cheap and insist on taking his wife's place? Do you know that the one who is not loved is the third party?" At that moment, Ross came over, wanting to give me a kiss, but I subtly dodged him. "Go ahead," I said thoughtfully, "the company's matters are important." He was even more moved and swore that he would treat me well after we got married. Then he hurriedly turned around to meet his woman. Promises are such useless things. I leisurely finished that breakfast alone. I met Ross when I was 17. That was when my parents were fighting the most, arguing over property, arguing about divorce, arguing about how to get rid of me, their burden. At home, I was beaten and scolded. At school, I was also the target of bullying and ridicule by others. That day, I was locked in the equipment room by a boy from my grade and caught Ross skipping class. He is a well-known little tyrant in the school, teasing cats and dogs, with grades at the bottom, and teachers get a headache just seeing him. I huddled in the corner, not daring to provoke him. But to my surprise, he took the initiative to hold my hand. "Caitlin, have you always been this timid? They bullied you like this, and you didn't say a word? From now on, I'll protect you." That day, he took me out of the equipment room and gave a good beating to the boys who bullied me, and then he became my little tail. I study in the self-study room, and he writes me little notes in his crooked handwriting. Upon learning that I had low blood sugar, he started bringing me his favorite sweetened water every day. When I am sad, he will ride his bicycle to take me to the south of the city to see the fireworks. 17-year-old Ross, regarded by teachers as a troublemaker, is the hero who descended from the heavens into my life. But 25-year-old Ross, without any scruples, used my project as a stepping stone for the woman he adored on the eve of the wedding, flirting in my car. We have long since lost each other. I saved all the text messages that Rachel sent me. "Ross, I will give you an unforgettable wedding gift. The day before the wedding, according to local customs, I have to stay at the hotel waiting to get married. This conveniently allows me to leave the city with my suitcase. There were only a few pieces of clothing and basic documents in the box, but it was enough." Ross's call came in at 9 o'clock the next morning. "Caitlin, where did you go?" Through the screen, I can imagine his furrowed brow. "The wedding car has arrived, and the hotel said you didn't check in yesterday. What's going on?" I stared at the ceiling, feeling calm inside. "I don't want to get married." "Ross, let's break up." "What?" He almost roared. "Caitlin, the wedding is about to start, what are you going crazy about again? Is it just because I've been too busy with work lately? Or is it because your project was given to Rachel? There should be a limit to being willful." He knew that doing these things would make me angry, yet he still did them. I left you a gift at the wedding venue. I sat in the waiting hall, smiling, and said, "Go take a look, Ross." He was almost laughing in anger and said fiercely, "Fine, I want to see what trick you're going to play." I tell you, Caitlin, if you make a big deal out of this, even if you kneel down and beg me later, it will depend on whether I still feel like getting married. The car sped towards the wedding venue. The call was not disconnected. The videotape has been arranged for the big screen, and it will start playing as soon as Ross arrives. And this great gift, I initially made it with a heart full of love for him. The video records every little moment of our acquaintance and love. Right up until he proposed and gave me that car. The ambiguous gasps from the dashcam came through the screen. Playing so big in your wife's car, aren't you afraid of being discovered? Anyway, I've already caught her, so what is there to be afraid of? Even if she knows, she can only make do. Ross felt as if struck by lightning. The other end of the phone was filled with uproar and screams. The scene was a complete mess. The wedding scene was exposed. The groom had an affair with the bridesmaid, and it's likely to make the front page of the newspaper. After a long while, his trembling voice finally came through. "Caitlin, it's not like that, let me explain." The airport announcement sounded at this moment. I should go. At the moment I got up, I smiled and said, "Ross, after 7 years together, you still don't understand me." Caitlin, never settle. After hanging up the phone, I blacklisted and deleted all his contact information. On my phone, a friend at the wedding venue is frantically sharing the live situation with me. My God, Ross has gone crazy. He hit the bridesmaid and smashed up the whole place. I opened the video he sent, and Ross's eyes were bloodshot, hysterical, while I remained unmoved in front of the screen. After a while, the comrade changed the subject. "Caitlin, you and Ross are just one step away from getting married and finding happiness. After so many years of feelings, can you really let go? Ross and I grew up together, enduring 4 long years of a long-distance relationship in college. No matter how far apart we were, he never lost heart and always persevered in coming to find me. During the most stressful time of the final exams, he even took a 16-hour train ride to celebrate my birthday with me, riding his bicycle to take me to the north of the city to see the fireworks. The moment the flames blossomed at the edge of the sky, he vowed that he would love me for a lifetime. After graduation, I accompanied him all the way from the studio to the company, and our feelings grew stronger. Until the proposal, he became increasingly indifferent, and I thought it was because he was too busy with work. I am not heartless, nor am I untroubled. When he cheated, I felt like I was going crazy, replaying the past over and over again. I just wanted to know where things went wrong between us. After Ross succeeded in his business, there were quite a few girls who liked him. In the past, he would report every suitor to me in great detail and proudly say how loyal he was in love. It wasn't until Rachel joined the company that Ross had ever mentioned this person in front of me. She showed him kindness, helped him tie his tie, and personally made lunch, far exceeding the boundaries of a secretary. She wore low-cut outfits to work, deliberately spilling coffee on herself, leaving intimate clothing in his office. Each step of seduction was blatant. And he did not refuse. I replied to that friend, "You should ask him this question. After so many years of feelings, how could he bear to destroy it? Am I the heartless one, or is he too sentimental?" The affection of 17 has turned into betrayal and indifference. Perhaps Ross once had sincerity, but sincerity is always fickle. His vows were like the fireworks of that year, ultimately disappearing at the horizon, never to be seen again. The plane is heading to Tibet. I've heard that Lhasa has the purest faith, capable of cleansing the weariness from one's soul. I once wanted to travel there during my graduation trip and even sent Ross a travel guide. But he refused, saying he was too busy with graduation. He also said it's not safe for me to go alone, and that he would accompany me when he has time. Now that I think about it, Ross wasn't actually busy at that time, he just wasn't available to be with me. I smiled, cleared my mind, and closed my eyes to rest. Director Caitlin? At that moment, someone sat down next to me. Is it really you? I was surprised. Mr. Joey? The person who came is Joey, the client I have collaborated with multiple times. He is also the overall person in charge of the project that Rachel has taken over. He has always appreciated my design drafts and once offered me 3 times my salary to join his company, but I turned him down. At that moment, I felt both surprised and a bit awkward. He seemed oblivious and gently asked, "Why haven't I seen your boyfriend?" I simply joked with him, "Actually, today is our wedding day." Joey was taken aback and forced a smile. "Congratulations, congratulations." However, I blinked. I ran away from my wedding. After saying that, I looked at him, thinking Joey would burst out laughing, but to my surprise, he frowned and asked, "Did he do something to wrong you?" "Why do you ask that?" "Because you like him so much, otherwise I would have taken you away long ago." He candidly said, "If it weren't for him making you sad, you wouldn't do such a thing." Of course, if you don't want to speak, that's fine. My gaze wandered to the window. Everyone knows I love him, and they are certain I will remain loyal. Perhaps this love gives Ross the illusion that I would never leave, which is why he is so reckless. After a long time, I shook my head. Well, he cheated. Then, take care of yourself. I paused, certain that what I had just said was infidelity, not death. Mr. Joey is still so humorous. You too. Joey did not continue this topic. Although he was talkative, he had a strong sense of propriety and never overstepped even a little when it came to other people's secrets. I naturally shifted the conversation to another topic. When talking about this trip, upon learning that our destination was to travel to Tibet, he asked, "So, should we team up?" I nodded. "If Mr. Joey doesn't mind me being a bother, of course it's no problem." After getting off the plane, I found that the hotel I booked with Joey was also very close. After he helped me check in, we agreed to meet tomorrow morning at 8. When I turned on my phone, I realized that Ross had called me countless times using someone else's number. Seeing that I didn't answer, they changed to sending a text message. "Why didn't you answer the phone? I've been looking for you all day. Where on earth have you been?" "Caitlin, can we sit down and have a good talk, okay?" I ignored it and put all those calls on the blacklist. Since we have already broken up, talking about it is unnecessary. In the following days, Joey and I visited quite a few attractions. He is always attentive and had done a lot of research for this trip. After a few days, whether it was the buildings we visited or the restaurants we went to, I felt comfortable and pleased. Just when I thought this journey would end pleasantly, Ross suddenly showed up 3 days later in the evening. At that time, I was chatting and laughing with Joey on the way back to the hotel. Ross stood at the hotel entrance, smoking. His eyes were dark and sunken, and he looked haggard. It was clear he hadn't slept well these past few days. He saw me, his face lighting up with joy, and he took a quick step forward. "You really came here?" I frowned. "What are you doing here?" "I found the travel plan you made when you graduated. I guess your first trip will be here. Can you let me explain?" Ross grabbed my hand tightly, his expression tense. "I really didn't mean to. It was Rachel who seduced me. She chased after me back in college. I was just momentarily confused and didn't think too much." I shook off his hand and said coldly, "I'm not interested in hearing your disgusting stories, so please stay away from me." He still wanted to entangle, but Joey stepped forward and stood behind me. "Mr. Ross, since you've broken up, let's not make it so ugly." Ross finally noticed him. "Joey?" His gaze flicked back and forth between us, his expression so dark it seemed like it could drip water. "Caitlin, good, good, so that's how it is. You were already involved with someone else, that's why you were so eager to dump me." I was almost laughing out of anger. "Ross, what kind of madness are you up to?" Ross persisted. "Aren't you the one going crazy? You know very well what you've done. If you can do it, why can't I?" I scoffed. "Don't just look at others being dirty, you are dirty yourself." "Am I dirty?" He was also ignited, his voice raised several degrees. "I made a mistake, but you didn't? You were ambiguous with others, I forgave you, so what about you?" Did you have to be so harsh? You bring up those trivial matters. Have you thought about how much impact they have on the company, and how much impact they have on me? Are you really just going to leave after saying that? Do you care about my feelings? Okay, I care about your feelings. So Ross. I interrupted him, is the vehicle easy to use? You proposed to me with a car, saying you would take me traveling, and I believed you. You said you would treat me well after we got married, and I believed that too. Do you want me to remind you of all the disgusting things you've done? You said you were lovesick and confused for a full 3 years? He murmured, isn't it because you're always thinking about running away? Why can Rachel stay with me, but you can't? It seems you have also forgotten why I am so determined to travel around the world. I looked at him and said, on the day of my birthday in freshman year, you took me to see the fireworks. I'm telling you, I like you, but I want freedom more. I want to go to more places and see more scenery. What did you say, do you remember? At that time, Ross said, no matter where it is, I will go with you. In an instant, his face turned pale. Seeing him so struck that he could no longer utter a word, I said, Ross, things have come to this point because of your own actions, you deserve it. Joey took me to the door of the room. I let out a slight sigh and said, sorry for making you witness this. He said, that's not true. I just feel that this matter probably won't end so quickly. I was filled with doubt, and Joey explained, haven't you been following the news lately? Your situation has already gone viral, and netizens are condemning him. I really haven't paid attention to this matter. It turns out that the video of the wedding scene was recorded and posted online, and netizens criticized the couple harshly. Ross and Rachel were pushed to the forefront of controversy, and the company's business was also affected. What use is it for him to come to me? I find it utterly absurd. I can't change other people's thoughts either. Joey shrugged, maybe it's because the design draft Rachel was in charge of had a problem? If you come back, you might be able to save the day? I was stunned, what do you mean? Joey pulled a document out of the bag, look, this is the design draft your ex-boyfriend submitted a week ago. I flipped through the materials, and the more I looked, the more familiar they became. The articles signed by Rachel were actually all the designs I created in college. Because the design was not perfect, I have never made it public, but Ross, who is close to me, knows everything. He took my design draft and gave it to the client under Rachel's name. I clutched the documents, my hands shaking with anger. After so many years of collaboration, I am very clear about your design style. This proposal is suspected of plagiarism, so I did not accept it. After this design draft was sent back, the one submitted later did not meet the requirements. I made it clear that if it wasn't you designing, we could sue according to the contract terms, and you know how much the penalty for breach of contract is. He can't come up with that amount right now. I think, even if it's not for anything else, just for this reason, he would want you to go back. Joey's words weighed heavily on my heart. The next morning, Ross was waiting for me early at the hotel entrance. He was holding a bowl of sweet soup in his hand, looking extremely affectionate. Caitlin. He followed behind me, speaking cautiously, this is the syrup I made myself. Do you remember? In high school, you often didn't have enough to eat, and I would always make you syrup to drink. You think about our past, I just made a mistake for a moment, but the person I have always wanted to marry is only you. Even if you don't forgive me for a while, it's okay, I will prove my sincerity. At the very least, give that project to Rachel, it's still yours, okay? I couldn't help but laugh. If it weren't for Joey giving me a heads up in advance, I might have really taken back what belonged to me. I smiled a half smile. Didn't you say yourself that you would take responsibility for her? No, I just want to make it up to you. I stared at the syrup in his hand and suddenly asked, have you made this syrup for Rachel? He was taken aback. You say, how can a person be so cheap, pretending to be deeply affectionate while still unable to let go of another person? He stumbled back, and I continued, Ross, I've already resigned. The project is no longer my responsibility, that's your concern. If you want to deal with the garbage collection, that's her issue. Don't go crazy and drag me into this, I have no interest in you all. Ross came to see me a few more times, but seeing that I remained unmoved, he eventually went back. The moment he left, my life returned to normal. Until the day the journey was about to end, I received a new text message. Caitlin, don't get too smug too soon. I didn't pay attention, but I didn't expect that afternoon a post would trend. In the video, Rachel, with red-rimmed eyes, accuses me of having an affair with the president of the client company, thus twisting the truth and trying to frame Ross. If he wasn't your affair partner, would he have sabotaged my design project? You deliberately gave me the project, let him pass my design, and then used the compensation to scheme against the Zhou group. This is an utterly disgusting business battle. Caitlin, you are fickle and changeable, Mr. Ross has never blamed you. But to get rid of Mr. Ross and pursue a new love, you really go to great lengths. To prove what she said, she even interviewed our mutual friends to show how sincere Ross is towards me. Not only that, she also released many photos of Joey and me, some of which show us standing together talking, and others where I am toasting him. There are even photos of me and Joey traveling together. It's obvious without guessing that those at the back were all taken by Ross. On the day of the wedding, not only did you elope with your new lover, but you also forged evidence of infidelity to frame Mr. Ross. You and your paramour won a great victory, didn't you? You must be so proud of yourself. You are truly malicious. Immediately after, Ross posted an update using the company account. Come back, Caitlin, I was just too angry for a moment, that's why I did this. I don't blame you. The accompanying images are the gifts he has given me over the years, the sweet words he has said, and even the video of his proposal. The implication is that I was at fault first, and he couldn't help himself. This message directly detonated public opinion. The design draft from my university that Rachel used doesn't seem perfect in my eyes, but the quality is decent. After she released the images, the comments leaned heavily in one direction, believing that the client company was blind to talent, and that this proposal was merely a way to pick a fight. Most people directly believed her business theory. Some people believe that I am essentially materialistic. Not only do I never refuse Ross's gifts, but he even gave me a car before I agreed to marry him, so it's no surprise that I would betray him for money. Ross sent a message, you know, this matter has blown up, and it will be very difficult for you to find a job in the future. As long as you are willing to come back, I will spend money to have the trending topic removed. Besides, the netizens aren't wrong, didn't you initially just care about my money? I don't mind this, you can come back and continue as the design director. If possible, I would prefer to complete that unfinished wedding with you. I smiled. Joey asked me if I needed help, but I declined. I originally wanted everything to stay on the day of the wedding, but I didn't expect them to be so entangled. In that case, I will personally put an end to everything. At 8 o'clock in the evening, I started a live stream. After this incident became public, I had never spoken out online, so as soon as the live stream began, I quickly climbed to the top of the trending list, thanks to the onlookers. Rachel, is my design proposal useful? I called out to her from across the screen, you don't think that I never keep an electronic version of my design drafts, do you? Every design is a testament to my growth, even a casual sketch, I will record it in my album. As long as I find the draft and the corresponding time, Rachel will have no way to argue. Ross doesn't know about this little habit of mine, so he can indulge Rachel in attacking me with such a clumsy lie. Immediately after, I restored the full view of the photo that Rachel had intercepted. She went to great lengths to separate me and Joey at the company social event. As long as you compare the clothes, you will find that there has never been a photo of me and Joey alone together. I have always kept my distance from the opposite sex, never crossing any boundaries, and these photos do not show any intimate actions, so when Rachel uploaded them online, many people did not believe it. Rachel unwillingly sent a comment in my live stream, then can you prove that there are no other dealings between you and Joey? Ross saw you two traveling together with his own eyes. The project was given to you by Ross, the design is copied by you, and Joey and I traveled together after my breakup. Have you cleared up your issues? Why are you throwing the dirty water on me? I laughed and said, you say I'm doing it for money. Wouldn't it be more cost-effective for me to marry Ross directly and have him give up everything? And also, Ross, it seems you've forgotten how you got to where you are today, step by step. I laid out the screenshots he sent and the finished project screenshots. Am I thinking about your money? How much salary have you paid me over the years? Back then, Ross was determined to have a bright future. After graduation, I often worked day and night on projects and business deals. It is because of my heartfelt support that his company was able to establish itself so quickly. I agreed to your proposal not because the car you gave me is valuable, but because you still remember my wishes. Over the years, there have been others who have given their true hearts, but you are the only one who has betrayed that heart. I ask myself, I have never wronged you, but what about you? What face do you have to say it's not my fault? A person with integrity is not afraid of shadows. This saying is always applicable. After the live broadcast, netizens spontaneously dug into my past with Ross. The more they dug, the more they found that I had turned down several high-paying offers for him and had always kept my distance from the opposite sex. On the contrary, he had already hooked up with Rachel early on. At this point, Ross and Rachel's reputation was completely ruined. He messages me every day using different numbers, filling the screen with apologies, so I just switched to a new SIM card. Under Rachel's post, everyone was calling for her to be attacked, and she quickly deactivated her account. Joey occasionally sends me messages. He said that Ross's company is completely finished, and Ross can't pay the penalties he owes. He has to sell off his assets to pay his debts. Among them, there is also the car that is to be given to me. In order to clean up the mess left by Rachel, the employees worked overtime for several months, filled with complaints, which directly sparked a wave of resignations, forcing Ross to fire Rachel. After I left, the quality of the project design team plummeted, and Ross is no longer able to talk about any new contracts. While taking care of Rachel, he was also overwhelmed by company matters, and his life became a mess. The company was on the brink of collapse and declared bankruptcy 6 months later. A person like Ross is the most proud and arrogant. It would probably be more painful for him to have nothing than to be killed. Sure enough, I saw the video of him and Rachel fighting on the trending topics. At that time, Ross was completely bankrupt and had to live in a rental apartment. Because of the situation online, he and Rachel had been unable to find jobs. He could no longer bear it, pulling Rachel's hair and blaming her for being a jinx. If it weren't for her, he wouldn't have broken up with me. Rachel scolded him for being a useless waste, only knowing how to act tough at home. What was once inseparable has now turned into bubbles. At first, I would stop to take a look, but later I no longer cared about their news. They became strangers on my life's journey. In the future of my life, I will not look back. I will always look forward, forever loyal to my own desires, loyal to freedom. After half a year of traveling around the world, Joey called, Caitlin, we still need a design director in our team. I've recently been looking to explore intangible cultural heritage everywhere and create a project that will shock the world. Your designs have always been outstanding, and your concepts align perfectly with our company. Would you like to give it a try? Okay.